Welcome. This video is presented by Miami-Dade College Hialeah Campus Learning Resources and will walk you through the steps in creating a blog using the Blogger platform. Creating a blog is a great way to share writing, especially when academic writing can seem a little intimidating sometimes. So we're going to today set up a blog from beginning to end and go through some of the features that you'll be using to share some content. So our first step is to go to Blogger. It's www.blogger.com. Now, the reason I like using Blogger, well, there's a few of them. First and foremost, you already have an account. Blogger's owned by Google, so look to see if you're using Google Chrome right now as your browser. I highly encourage you to use it as Google likes other Google products. Second of all, Blogger's free. We like free. And third of all, as we go through this, you'll find that there's a lot of mistakes you may make. But the good news is you can't break Blogger. There's always ways to edit and make changes and undo what you've done before. So the first thing you're going to do is sign in using your MyMDC email address. So I'm going to put my username at mymdc.net. From here, I'll be redirected to the college website, where I'm going to paste my username again and go ahead and put my password in. The next window that shows up is my Blogger profile display name. For this, I'm just going to enter my first and last name. Please make sure you're not using an alias or username, as we're really just using our display name kind of as an author signature. Now, here we are at our Blogger homepage. I'm going to close this out. You see that we have nothing on our screen yet. It's just because we haven't started any blogs. So this is going to host our blog and all of the content that we need to have. And our first step is really easily identified in the middle of our screen. Let's create a new blog. Now, the title of your blog and the address, like I said, can be edited at any point. That means if you put something in here that you don't really like later on in the process, you can always go back and change it. The title of our blog should be something that encompasses what we're discussing. So if you're working on a project in a class, it should typically discuss the topic that you're writing about. If it's just a reflection blog, you can label it that way also. I'm just going to let mine be a reflection blog for the purpose of this demonstration. Now, our address needs to be very unique. Every URL goes to a direct website, and so we want to make sure that this URL will not be redirected somewhere else and will be appropriately given to us and also easy to find. So one way to do that is look at the course that you're using for this class. For example, my reflections are for Speech 1017. One address theory that I like to use is by using my first initial, last name, the class name, followed by, that's the course ID, followed by the class number. That class number can be found on your schedule of classes, and it typically is either a 4 or 6-digit number. So for the purposes of this, I'm just going to use 1, 2, 3, 4. When I click underneath, it'll let me know that this blog address is available. It's probably available because this is a weird set of numbers, but it works for our purposes. Don't worry about theme yet. This could be changed and customized later. Let's just click Create Blog. When you see this box, click on No Thanks. Like I said, we're cheap. We don't want to spend any money. We don't need to buy a domain at this point. So now our homepage has changed. If you are creating more blogs in the future, you'll see on the top left-hand side the name of the blog that we created at that Create Blog window. When I click on the arrow, I always have the ability to create new blogs. So moving forward, if you have another class or you're just interested, you can always create new blogs and toggle between them using this arrow. So let's create a new post. Creating a new post is done by clicking New Post in the top left-hand corner. From here, we'll see a screen that's very similar to what we see using our Gmail accounts. I'm going to go ahead and assume that we know some basic typing skills. So we'll skip over how to use some of these formatting things here. But what I really want to focus on are these 3 links that we have available in our navigation panel. So the first thing I'm going to do is type a sentence. Now, if I'm on a website like this and I want to direct somebody to go to another website, one way to do that is by copying and pasting the URL. Now, do I necessarily want to check out the library's website at https://www.mdc.edu/learning-resources? No, that was really annoying to probably listen to me say, and it's really jarring for the reader to see all of that set up on the computer. So another way to do that is by embedding that link into text, and that's what we're going to do here. So what I'm going to do is open a new tab and go to the Miami-Dade College website. From here, I'm going to click on Academics, go to Libraries. This is the Learning Resources homepage. From here, I'm able to search our library catalog. I have quick links and other links to take me to research tools and services, tutoring information. There's so much that this website has to offer. So I want to make sure I link to this in my blog. In order to do that, I'm going to highlight the URL at the top of the page, copy it. Then I'm going to go back to my blog and highlight the text that I want to have linked. In this case, it could be library's website or just the word website on its own. Either way, I'll highlight that text with my cursor, click on link, and then paste the URL in this box. Now, one thing before we move on, you see down here where it says open this link in a new window? We want to make sure we click this. This means that when the user clicks on the link in our text on our blog, it'll open up a new tab as opposed to reusing the same tab that's currently open. This just helps organize the user to make sure that they don't lose your page. Once you've clicked this once, you just click OK and it will always default to being on. Also, just as a tip, if you're redirecting somebody to contact another person, you can always do the same thing we did here, but instead of web address, click email address and put the person's email address in, and it will auto-generate a new message when clicked. I now see that this text is linking to this website, and we're all set. Great job, guys. Let's move on to the next thing. Inserting photos are very simple, and I'm sure that a lot of you have experience, but we're going to go over it very briefly. Inserting photos is super simple. I'm just going to click on Insert Image, and I'll have the ability to upload, use from the blog, from the Google Album Archive, from my phone, my webcam, or even from a URL. So what I'm going to do, just to practice, is go to Google. And let's search for every Miamian's favorite thing, cafecito. When I look for cafecito, I'm going to look for an image. Lots of good choices. Let's see. I like this one a lot. Once I find a picture that I like, one option I can do is just copy and paste this into our blog. And it's definitely an option, but sometimes when you copy and paste, you lose some of the quality of the image. And we want to make sure that this cafecito comes in loud and clear. So in order to do that, I'm going to right-click on the image and then open image in new tab. This opens just the image and nothing else, meaning I get it at its full resolution. And I'm able from here to right-click again and save image. I can see it's down at the bottom of my screen. So let's go back over to Blogger. Now it's time to upload that photo. I'm going to click on Choose Files and then click on the photo that I've saved. Once it's loaded, I'll see it here, and I'll be able to click on it and add selected. Just as a note, moving forward, every time I add a photo to this archive or my blog in general, I can always click on from this blog and this photo will show up on other posts as well, just in case I want to reuse or recycle a similar photo. Once my photo's been entered, I can click on it once and I see I get this ribbon of options. I can make the photo smaller, I can make it really big. I can move it to the left or to the right, and even back to the center. I can also add a caption. Captions are really helpful. For those who might need to use a screen reader, adding a caption will allow the screen reader to read what the photo is showing. Also, in case you're posting a photo of an event or something you've attended, you might want to provide a little bit of a description. Let's add a caption. Once we're done, we're going to move on to inserting a video. Inserting a video can be done in a variety of different ways. We're going to go over all of those ways, but there's really only one that we really like. And I'm sorry, but it's going to be last. Bear with me. This is still helpful. So the first thing we want to do is click on Insert Video. You can see I can upload videos right here, similarly to the way that we did with our photo. Uploading a video can be super helpful, especially if you attended an event or took a video on your own that you want to share. This is a great way to put a little bit of personality and something that you did in a different form of multimedia onto your blog. I highly encourage you to take videos and upload them using this way. But a majority of our videos typically come from YouTube. When I click from YouTube, I'm able to search YouTube right here. So if I put Cafecito in, I'll get a whole list of videos that are ready for me to click and add. However, the only preview I get using this is this little image and this little bit of text. Now, this isn't a whole lot for me to make sure I know this is the best video. So while this option is available, it's not our best choice. So let's go to YouTube. From YouTube, I can do that same search. I can look through and I can try to find the video that works best for me.
Hey, listen to me.
Wait for the ad.
Free. I know you and I both love free stuff.
Once I know that this is the video I want, I can click on the URL and copy it, go back over to my blog, and instead of searching for Cafecito, I can search for the URL. This will make sure that only this video shows up. I click on it, select, and the video is now in my blog. Now, this is still not my favorite way. One main reason is that this video is really small and it's in the shape of a square. If I look at the original video, this is a nice landscape widescreen 16:9 ratio video, and this is a square. So it's definitely one of the options we have, but not our best one. I'm going to show you an even better way to upload these videos. Let's delete it. When I'm on the YouTube page, at the very bottom of the screen, I have an option to share. When I click on share, I see that Blogger's listed. Now, this is our fourth option to have, and it's probably my least favorite, only because when I click on Blogger, it's going to open up a brand new post. I don't want a new post. I want this in the post I'm working on. So even though it's an option, we're not going to use it. But guys, don't worry, we've made it to the final and best way to upload a video, and that's by embedding it into our blog. Now, this is going to be a little bit tricky, so I really highly encourage you to pay attention during this part. Embedding a video means we're going to take the HTML code that is supporting this video and put it onto our blog. Now, it might look a little intimidating, but once you get the hang of it, you might just feel like me, kind of nerdy, but like a super coder who can take down the world, or just at least embed a YouTube video. Probably just the latter. Anyway, we click on embed. I see that I now get a full screen of what my image in my video will look like, and I get the embed code. The nice thing about embedding is I get to customize a lot of what the features are in here. So for example, if this is a great video, but the intro to it is like 4 minutes long and the actual instructions start at 5 minutes or 4 minutes and 20 seconds or whatever, you can click on start at, change the time here, and whatever time you write will be reflected in the code so that the user, when they press play, will start at 4 minutes instead of 0. So that's definitely an option. Once we have our code, we're going to click on copy and then go back to our blog. Now, HTML is its own language. If I just paste it here, nothing's going to happen. So if your screen looks like this, it's because you're just putting it in the wrong place. What we need to do is match the language with the view that we're seeing. On the top left-hand side of the screen, I can toggle between Compose view, which we're currently in, or HTML. I'm going to click on HTML. This is everything we've done so far written in code. Our image, our text, our link, everything's here. So it's time to add our video. The very bottom of the screen, I'm just going to paste in the code that we copied. You can see now here. And then when I go back to Compose, the video will show up. It looks a lot better this way, doesn't it? Embedding code opens our opportunities to put a lot of different multimedia into our blogs. You can find embed code for things such as Google Maps, Spotify playlists, GIFs, anything you can think of. We're going to do this one more time just to show you the process again and also how to share some more fun features that Blogger has. Let's give ourselves some space and let's add a GIF. Now, the great debate of GIF versus GIF. Please no, I am on the side of GIF. I'm sorry, but GIF is peanut butter. It's delicious, but it goes between two pieces of bread with a nice sliced banana. I'm not a big jelly person, but we do want to make sure we're adding our GIFs in to give a little bit of fun. One great website for this is Giphy. Go to giphy.com. And from here, we have a lot of different images that we're able to share. So let's keep on theme. If I put in cafecito, I see that I have a lot of different GIFs that are coming up. I like this one a lot. Once I find one that I like, I'm going to click it. And then I want to look for the magic word, embed. If I copy link, it's just going to copy this URL at the top of the page and bring me back here. But I want to put this GIF inside my blog. So I'm going to click on embed. And I see I get the code. If I click on it once, it will highlight all of the code. I'll then right click, copy, and then let's go back to our blog and go through the steps again. Let's switch to HTML. And then paste. One note, see these little BRs? That's just me hitting enter on the keyboard. If I hit enter here and then paste my text, nothing happens with the spacing of Compose view. Those BRs are really me hitting enter. When I come back, I see my video or my GIF has now been added. Again, GIFs can be added for a variety of different things. If I go to Google Maps and I put in Miami-Dade College, Hialeah campus. When I click on it, I have the ability to share. And you'll see again our magic word, embed a map. I'm able to copy this HTML and put this map into our blog. Really, embedding has so many options that are available to it. I encourage you to play around, see what you can embed, see how you can make this better, and just make it as creative as you feel comfortable with. So once we have a post that we're happy with, I almost forgot the most important part, our post title. We want to make sure every post has a title. Now for this one, I'm just going to put sample post. This is just where we're playing around and trying some of the features. So I just wanted to kind of show that. Once I'm done, I can go all the way over to the right and click on publish. By clicking publish, this means that my post is now live for the world to see. If I click on view blog, I can see what my blog looks like right now. I can go into my post and see everything that I worked on. Now, there are times where we're going to make mistakes. You might spell something wrong. You might have input a link wrong. I even noticed here that I somehow managed to put my via Giphy at the bottom of the map instead of the bottom of my GIF. So I want to be able to make changes and move those things around. I can very easily do that by hovering over my post and clicking on edit. This will bring me right back to where we were before. I can go down, copy that text. Oops. And paste it back to where it belongs, and then click on update. It'll then update my post and we're all good. Now, let me go back into edit. Now say we've created a post that maybe is a little bit of nonsense, kind of like this one. I don't necessarily want this on my live blog because it's not the best work I've probably done, and I know that this isn't going to follow along with what the assignment asked me for. So I don't want to delete it. I tend to be a digital hoarder. I want to be able to look back, maybe play in this area again, try out some code issues, anything like that. So what I want to do is instead of delete, I'm going to revert it to draft. When I revert to draft, it puts it way back to what it looked like at the very beginning, where I have the option to publish, meaning it's no longer live on my blog. And when I go back to our homepage, I can see now it's listed as a draft. Only I get to see it. It's a really good tool to use, especially if you need to take something down for some serious work, or like I said, you want to create more of like a sample or sandbox where you can play and just test out some features and hold a lot of your information. So that's all we need to know about creating posts. The other thing we want to talk about are these settings on the left-hand side. Now, I know everyone likes changing their theme. The one thing I do ask of you is to be considerate about what you're posting. Your theme needs to match what you're showing all of the viewers. So if you pick a theme that's really photo heavy, but you're not doing a photography blog, it might not match as well. Once you've picked your theme, you'll be able to customize it even more by changing the background, text colors, fonts, anything like that. And you'll be able to preview it, what it looks like on mobile and live on your blog. The next part is in settings. In settings, we can make changes to things we set up way at the beginning. So if I need to change my title, I can edit it here. I can add a description. I can even edit my blog URL. And lastly, I can add authors. If you're working on a group project, you only need to create one blog at the very beginning, and then you can add authors by clicking on this Add Author button. From here, I would just write the email address of my other group members, but please do this one at a time. Once I send an invite to them, they'll get a notification that they've been invited to join this blog in their Gmail account. And because this is part of the Google Suite, I can easily access that by clicking on this little waffle on the top right-hand corner and toggling to my Gmail account. From there, I'll be able to accept the invitation, or, well, not me, my partner. And then he will also be added to the authors of this blog and will be able to see everything I see. That basically goes over all of the features of Blogger. Please know that you're not in this alone. If you have more questions, you can always reach out to the NTech tutors through our remote tutoring platform or face-to-face if that's available. I highly encourage you to reach out for help and feel free to just pick our minds and see if we can support you in any way. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope this was helpful. Have a great day.